I'm so happy you guys are here because tonight I'm going to invite you to go inside and just have a total body experience with yourself. One of the things that I would like for you to consider is that you are being given an opportunity to have this exploration of your body and the practice of one of the essential practices of yoga, which is Pratyahara. When we're looking at the 8 limbs of yoga, we're looking at the building blocks of yoga to be able to ascend to that greater state, that state of yoga. So that when things happen, whenever things go awry, whenever things aren't wonderful, whenever life isn't as planned, that we can tap into that state of yoga, which is the opposite of misery. It's non-misery, which is yoga. And when we're coming into that, we're climbing the ladder of yoga by starting with the way that we interact with the world and the way that in our personal ethics. And then we practice our yoga asana or our movement. We practice breath, pranayama, and then we get to that pratyahara. We get to that next state, which is turning inward. And in turning inward, we can do one of those observances that is the yoga, which is turning, which is self-study. So tonight I'm giving you the invitation to step into self-study and to actually, acknowledge, how you feel. Like, what is life? Like, how are you feeling right now? Really, when you don't have to feel a certain way, how do you feel? When you don't have to do, how do you feel? And then when we do get into some poses, how do you feel? And then how do you feel about what you feel? So tonight's challenge for you will be to not have to use a visual reference the whole class, because you're going to be on the wall. So depending on where you have your device, you may just have to go with the sound of my voice. And that is awesome, because actually yoga is an oral practice. And so by doing this, you're more likely to cultivate a home practice. And I know we have some people watching who practice with me in person. And really, this is a way for you to be able to go home and do these practices on your own. So we'll actually start by standing, because some of us haven't stood today. And come to standing for dangle. And if you have blocks with you or anything else, you can bring them close to where you are folding over. And anything else, now's the time to go ahead and grab it. And then you can bring your booty to the wall, or you can stand away from the wall. Feet are away from the wall. And let the wall ground you as you just fold over and dangle. And now's the first opportunity to just begin to notice, how do you feel? How do I feel? If you'd like a little more, you can interlace your fingers at the webbing behind your neck, and just allow for your hands just to give you a little more weight. And that might be too much. So feel free to bring your hands back to the ground or to blocks. And draw a breath in so deeply, your belly moves your upper body away from your thighs. And as you exhale, relax your upper body onto your thighs. And heel toe your heels out now to the edges of your mat. Take a full breath in. Exhale, slide your booty down the wall for squat against the wall. You can bring your elbows inside of your knees and hands together. I invite you to let go of all of the aesthetics of this pose, or really pressing into your hands, or doing and looking a certain way. This isn't about that. This is just about allowing for your body to be in a sensation of feeling grounded, feet to earth, and supported back to the wall. If you find yourself performing the pose, feel free to just let that go. And just notice how you feel. Take a full breath in. Exhale, let it go. And come all the way down to the mat now. And just come over to your side hip to bring your legs up the wall. And so the easiest way to get up the wall is to bring your hip to the wall and then draw your feet, your legs up the wall so you're pretty close to the wall. And Baddha Konasana, or a butterfly on the wall. Draw the soles of your feet together and allow for your knees to bow out. Now, if you're extra flexy and the soles of your feet are together, coming together toward your groin, and if that feels like that's a lot, like your feet keep sliding down, then you can bring a block or a book between your heels and your groin. You can also bring blocks underneath your thighs, but if you don't have them, because this isn't a proper quiet class, you can just bend your elbows and place each hand underneath a thigh. You're not pressing your thighs out. You're not doing. Instead, you're allowing the pose, you're allowing gravity to do the work of the pose as your knees bow out like a butterfly. And close your eyes now and consider yourself as a burgeoning butterfly being asked to be in your cocoon. You have no idea how long this process of transformation is going to take. This chrysalis moment. But you just allow for yourself to be and to be formed and shaped. And now take your right foot out toward the right side of the wall And extend your left leg toward the left side to come into dragonfly or a big V or straddle on the wall. Now I'm practicing next to Lenny, who has the longest legs in North America. So I've actually scooted my bum away from the wall so that I can go into my dragonfly right over her leg. Hopefully that doesn't bother her knee. All right, got the thumbs up, so that means we're good. And again here, you can actually keep your elbows bent and allow for your hands to just rest along your thighs, not pushing them, and certainly not pulling them. And just notice how it feels to be opening and yet be supported at the same time. And what emotion is evoked in this pose? There is an emotion evoked in every pose, and some are more pronounced than others. So what is the emotion that you sense, that you feel? So we are in these poses for 3 to 5 minutes. And we're in them for that amount of time so that you can begin to tap into the fascia of your body. And we're bypassing muscles to get there. Take a full breath in and invite your belly to rise. And as you exhale, just explore that sensation of surrender into your mat. Now find your right foot and place the sole of your right foot on the wall. Bring your knee in just a little bit. Then left foot, do the same. Both soles are on the wall for wall squat. Now you can be farther away from the wall so that your knees aren't crunched into the sides of your belly, or you can have your bum right up on the wall. This is a much kinder way to enjoy frog pose. Notice any holding in your toes. We're always connected to breath. So here you can enjoy Dirga breathing or 3-part breath. Take a full breath into your low belly. Exhale, let it go. Inhale into your low belly and ribs. And exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, low belly, middle ribs, and collarbones. Sigh. And you have about 3 more breaths here. Now extend your right leg, or heel toe your feet together. Extend your right leg up and left leg up. Talk about feeling brand new after that. Bend both knees toward your belly. Place right foot, sole of your foot on the wall, left sole of your foot on the wall, knees together. This is a really great way to release the low back. And it's a nice little hug. Roll over to your side of choice. I like to roll left in the end and press into the mat to come up to all fours. And just notice how you feel coming back up right now. Now, I do actually want you guys to have a blanket, and I did fail to tell you that. So you can grab one right now. You can also just use a pillow if you don't have a blanket. And you're going to set up for dragon on the wall. Now, this is similar to King Arthur on the wall, but it is not, but that's saddle. So you're going to bring your right knee to your blanket, and you can either just leave your hands grounded. I like to have blocks, but you can leave your hands grounded if you like. And you're going to step your left foot through. You can also do it the other way. So this pose, we're just getting help with the wall to ensure that we're getting the biggest spread possible on this pose. Now, if you hate everything about this, you can bring the blanket under your knee and come away from the wall. It's fine. You can be here. And this is just dragon. And I say just dragon. It's funny because with lunges, lunges we do all the time, and on the floor, they're not always a challenge. But when you're in a lunge for that 3 minutes, man, it really changed things a lot. So this is where we can practice Pratyahara, turn off the sense of sight. Draw awareness inside. And come back to that pranayam, dirga breathing, or 3-part breath. Fill your low belly. Exhale, sigh. Inhale, low belly, ribs, fill them up. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, belly, ribs, collarbones. Bring your hips back. Bring both knees down now. And just sit on your heels. If sitting on your heels doesn't feel good, you can actually come all the way down. Yeah, do that again, Lenny. You can come all the way down to your belly and just take a moment of joy, bliss. If being on your knees is not comfortable, you don't have to do that. All right, come back up. And now you'll change sides. So blanket underneath your knee or pillow, anything that's giving you padding. And you'll step your right foot through this time. So I am in dragon, Lenny is in dragon on the wall. And I like blocks under my hands. I see a lot of people immediately go to their forearms in dragon. And I actually never practice dragon that way because what is the tendency is to bring the pose into your low lumbar, the low back, forcing L4, L5, putting more stress there, as opposed to just drawing the pose into the front of the opposing hip. So bringing it more into the connective tissues around between the quad, connecting the quad and psoas, getting into all of that stuff. I mean, ask yourself, how often do you actually open this part, this front left hip? We're always drawing the knee up when we walk, but we're never drawing the knee back. So by drawing the knee back, we're allowing ourselves this opening along the front left hip and getting into that connective tissue that gets compressed all the time. So that's my argument for high flying dragon. And also the tendency when people go down to the mat is also to accidentally shift the hips back to lighten the load, so to speak, to come out of the pose because the pose isn't comfortable. Well, the pose isn't meant to be comfortable. The pose is meant to teach us something, like teach us how to be in this pose and stay. How to be in discomfort and stay, and how to identify the self-talk that we have when we're in something difficult. So I'll leave you with yourself now for the rest of this pose to just be in your breath, and you can use that 3-part breath again here. Take a full breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Draw your hips back. And bend both knees. Now, whatever you're on, you can come off of that and bring your belly to the mat And both knees are right at the corner of the wall. Wall Sphinx. So with this pose, you're using, Lenny wanted to do something else. We're not doing that yet. Wall Sphinx. So both shins are going up the wall, and you have L's. Make L's with your arms so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders. And there'll be a curve along the back of your body. We're allowing and inviting a compression in the low back, but we're doing it safely because we're grounded to the floor. If this is a lot for your body and your low back is like, nah, bruh, you can bring in that blanket or that pillow again and bring it underneath your belly so that your curve isn't so dramatic. What you don't want to do is have your chest on the mat. That's not the pose. And if you feel that you've been carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, find a block or blankets or pillow and put it under your head and allow for your head to ground. My block is on the highest height here. And if you feel any challenge in this pose, you can just acknowledge, call it that challenge. How do you feel about that challenge? And just come right back to the pose. If you'd like a little bit more, you can press up to seal by bringing your hands to the mat and opening. It's very much like Dhanurasana at this point, really just coming into floor bow practically. And allow for all of that energy to pool at the base of your spine. Take a full breath in. Exhale, gently let it go. You just have a few more breaths here. Will you fight the pose or live in the pose? Your choice. Full breath in. Full breath out. And now come all the way down to sleeper on the wall. First, just bring your chest to the mat. Definitely a crowd pleaser here. And bring now your right knee to where it is in the same line with your right hip. Place the sole of your right foot right on the baseboard of your wall. And this is sleeper right side. Notice any gripping in your left hip. bring your right shin back up the wall. You can interlace your fingers underneath your forehead. And just notice the echoes of the posture in your body still. And now bring your left knee out toward the ground on the left. Left foot goes to the baseboard for sleeper on the left side. And notice any holding in the pelvic floor. On your inhale, just investigate if you're holding. And on your exhale, allow yourself to be held by the floor. And draw your left knee back into your body. And notice the residue of the posture in your body. Bring awareness to your hands and bring both knees into your body now to make your way back to your backside. You can draw your legs up the wall. And remember to get that nice little wedge in the wall. You just have to bring a hip to the wall and then shift your way up. Figure 4 on the wall. Bring your right foot, and this is really swan on the wall, over your cross it over your left leg, either at your just under your knee, and just allow for the pose to settle in here. And notice in your body if this is already enough. For me, this is already enough. This is my operated side, so I'm going to stay here. If you're like, I feel nothing, then just begin to drag your left foot down the wall. So you're bending your left knee and allowing for your right foot to stay wedged under your knee, under your left knee, as your right knee draws out. It's important to know that you are the one driving the car and that your foot, your left leg is the accelerator right now. So you might feel that things have stopped being interesting on the right side. When you notice that, you can give yourself a little more gas by bringing your left foot down the wall, maybe another inch or two. What I love about this practice at home is that there's no one else around, or maybe you have one person around, but for the most part, there's no one else around to evoke comparison. So you just get to be with yourself. And extend your right foot back up the wall. And left side. Left leg bends and meets the right. Underneath the right knee, unless it doesn't want to go there, it can be above it, just not on the knee. And find the accelerator here. Drag your right foot down the wall. And if you have any sensitivity in your tailbone right now, feel free to find that blanket or that cushion from earlier to bring it underneath your tailbone. Also, some people's feet slide, so you can also allow for your right hand to just rest on your left ankle. Notice the address of your breath. How deep is the sensation of breath right now? And its speed. Notice if you want to give yourself a little bit more by giving yourself another inch or two by dragging the right foot down. And extend both feet up the wall again. If you moved away from the wall because hamstrings were screaming, you can get closer. And now drag both feet down the wall, knees come to your belly. And just notice the sensation of Balasana or Child's Pose or Tadpole on your back. And bring both knees over to your right side. Allow for your right leg to rest on the ground. Right foot touches the baseboard, and your left leg is right on top of the left. Gaze over to your left side for this delicious wall twist. Now is a great opportunity to ask yourself if there's anything that you're holding on to right now, emotionally, spiritually, anything that you are holding on to that you're kind of finished holding on to it. This twist is a wonderful opportunity to tap into your house of power, your personal power, and to choose to twist out anything you're holding on to. So take a big breath in. And on your exhale, just give it away. And begin lengthening your exhalations. And walk your legs back up the wall. Notice the difference in sensations or how your body feels from one side to the other. And draw your right foot toward your bum again, and your left. And on your exhale, walk your feet over to the left side now. And your left leg is supported by the floor. Left foot is against the floorboard. And your right leg is supported by your left leg. You can gaze over to your left side now. Or right side, rather. And in this twist, just notice the experience of being a little more compressed, and yet this opening along the right side body. Kind of a reminder that where that old edict of when one window is closing, another is opening. And draw both knees back, or both legs up the wall. Notice now the evenness from one side to the other. And now we'll prepare for Shavasana, which can be in legs up the wall. Viparita Karani is a really beautiful way to let go of low back stuff. So you can keep your legs up the wall. And an option as well can be to if you just so happen to have a yoga belt or strap, you can bring that around your legs. You can also press your feet into the wall and place that cushion or blanket underneath your hips so that your hips are supported. Another thing that I really like to do, Lenny is also using a blanket to wrap her legs so that her legs are held inside of the blanket with a bolster between her legs and the wall. I also invite you to go completely inside, and it would be a really odd thing to have gone through a yin practice and to not stay for Shavasana. So for your Shavasana, again, you can be here, legs up the wall, or you can just take your Shavasana, if you're tired of being inverted, and place the soles of your feet against the wall. It feels really nice to have them grounded to the wall. And then bring a blanket or your eye pillow so that you can bring the blanket over your eyes like a little hood. And allow your arms to be wide. Eyes covered. You can always just turn off your lights. And just notice now the gift of support. Instead of going completely away, just bring my voice to the edges of your awareness. And just bring in a sensation of floating, beginning with your toes and your feet, light and floating. Your ankles and heels, allow for them to also float. Still notice the sensation of being grounded into the matter, having that support, but as though that support is water, allowing for you to be light and floating, supported. And now your thighs and knees, your both legs light and floating. And your hips now, and glutes, low belly and back, all float in the support of your making. Shoulders and neck now light and floating. Your head, ears. Allow for your cheeks to be heavy. Your jaw and mouth can slightly open. There's nothing to do but just be light and floating, supported, held. Allow for your arms and your hands to be held now. And just notice how you feel. Become aware now of yourself as co-creator of this moment. Bring back any sounds that were outside of you now, outside, perhaps even outside of your home. And deepen your breath.
Take a breath so deep it seems to come all the way from your toes to the crown of your head. And exhale, sigh it out. Do that again. Inhale from the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers all the way to the crown of your head. And exhale, sigh. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring in some gentle movement into your neck. Drag your left foot toward you and then your right. And roll over to your left side. And give yourself gratitude for showing up for yourself and for your practice tonight. Gratitude to those who held space for you so that you could practice. That might be the same person. Any animals that left you alone so you could be in the yoga. And let's also give gratitude for those yogis in whose lineage we are walking. And when your gratitude practice is over, press into your hands and bring yourself up to seated. And just know that you can create this sensation of rest and peace, that you can create this whenever you want it, whenever you need it, that your sanctuary is right here. It's all you, is there for you whenever you need it. Take a full breath in with me. Exhale, let it go. Heart mudra. Bring your right hand right over your heart and your left hand right on top. Just connect to your heart, the purest part of you. And perhaps tell it you promise to listen to it, promise to nurture it. And Garuda mudra, the mudra of the eagle. Bring your thumbs together and tighten them around one another. Fingers spread apart. This reminds us of our freedom. And if it resonates with you, you can say, I am free. And now Anjali Mudra, bring your hands together to meet. Tilt your head toward your fingertips in acknowledgement of the teacher within you. And the light and the teacher me bows to you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for being in this practice with me tonight, for being in your practice. Just time and time again, this is where we meet and we do the thing of coming together and being in the yoga together. It is always my goal to leave you better than I found you, and I hope that happened for you today. Namaste.